I knew something was off the second her lips touched mine. Vanessa's kiss was soft, careful, like she was checking a box. She wore this deep red lipstick I'd never seen before, way too bold for a culinary retreat with a bunch of food bank execs. Her eyes weren't with me, they were somewhere else. And her suitcase? Brand new, glossy white with gold trim. Looked more honeymoon than work trip. She smiled like everything was fine. I'll call you tonight, okay? I nodded, but my gut twisted. Last week she said this thing was in Denver. Now she's flying to Napa? And since when did her nonprofit fly people out to wine country for cooking workshops? But I had 2 lawn installs and a drainage check that morning. My truck was already packed, phone buzzing with a missed call from Mrs. Hargrove about a broken sprinkler head. I kissed Vanessa on the forehead and watched her roll that fancy suitcase out to the Uber like she was walking into a new life. I headed out the door, shoving the weird feeling down. Back at the house after work, I was looking for her recipe notebook. She always left it out before a trip. Instead, I found her tablet sitting on the kitchen counter, screen still lit. The open tab showed a flight confirmation. I clicked it. It wasn't to Napa. It wasn't even in her name. Passenger, Lisa Caldwell. Destination, Palm Springs, not Napa. 5 nights at Sunset Mirage Villas. I clicked on the hotel link. It was no retreat. It was a high-end couples resort. Private pool suites, spa packages, candlelight dinners for 2. Not a buffet line in sight. My pulse spiked. I opened the full itinerary. Right below Lisa Caldwell was the guest listed on the room. Dr. Malcolm Caldwell. I stared at that name, not blinking. Caldwell wasn't her maiden name. Wasn't anybody in her family. Definitely wasn't a coworker. Then it hit me. She booked this whole trip under a fake identity. A fake couple. I leaned on the kitchen island, breathing slow, letting it all click into place. Vanessa wasn't in Napa. She wasn't with her nonprofit. She was in Palm Springs, playing house with some guy she didn't want me, or anyone else, to know about. I grabbed my phone and snapped pictures of everything. Flight info, hotel booking, even the fake name. Then I walked out to the garage, opened my tool drawer, and pulled out the backup key to her safe. The safe wasn't locked. She must have gotten sloppy, or maybe just confident. Either way, inside was her passport, a fat stack of old boarding passes, and a second phone I didn't recognize. I didn't touch anything but the phone. It powered on without a passcode. First thing that popped up? A photo of her and a man I'd never seen before. He was older, thick hair going gray, but well-dressed, polished. They were sitting at a patio table, wine glasses in hand, big dumb smiles on their faces. Her head leaned into his shoulder like it belonged there. He wasn't just a fling. She looked like she loved him. I set the phone down and went back to her tablet. I still had the hotel booking open. Name on the room, Lisa Caldwell. Guest, Dr. Malcolm Caldwell. I sat down at the kitchen table and started digging. It didn't take long. A quick Google search brought up his dental practice in San Antonio. Full name, office address, staff bios, and a photo of him shaking hands with a local mayor at a ribbon cutting. It was definitely the same guy. Then I found the practice's Facebook page. They'd posted about their 10-year anniversary last month. There was a comment from someone named Lisa Caldwell. So proud of you, love. I clicked her name. Public profile. Married. 2 grown kids. Photo from a beach vacation tagged. Caldwell family reunion. So that was the real Lisa Caldwell. My wife was using this woman's name to shack up with her husband. Vanessa wasn't just cheating. She built a lie on top of another woman's life. I snapped pictures of everything. The hotel confirmation, the room details, the names, the guest list. Then I took a breath and dialed the number for Sunset Mirage Villas. Sunset Mirage. This is Ethan. How can I help you today? I dropped my voice half an octave. Hi there. This is Dr. Malcolm Caldwell. My wife and I just checked in. Lisa Caldwell? Yes, sir. I see you here. How can I assist you? I wanted to surprise her with an upgrade. We're celebrating something special. Absolutely, doctor. I can move you into our honeymoon suite. Private plunge pool, spa credits, and a premium wine package. That sound good. Perfect. Charge it to the card on file under Lisa Caldwell. Done. We can also leave a personalized note if you'd like. I didn't even hesitate. Write this. Enjoy this well-earned break from honesty. Sign it, Rick. There was a pause. Then, got it, sir. We'll have that in the room shortly. I hung up and sat back in my chair, my hands buzzing like I just finished pulling weeds barehanded. There was a tight, burning pressure in my chest. Not pain, not exactly. Just that full-body punch of realizing you've been made into a joke. She could have told me she was unhappy. She could have walked out. But instead, she played dress-up as someone else's wife, pretending her real life didn't exist. Screw that. I grabbed my truck keys off the counter, slipped her burner phone into a Ziploc bag, and headed for the garage. I had a stop to make before sundown, and I wasn't done digging. By sunrise, I was back on the job, hedge trimmers buzzing in my hands, while my phone lit up like a pinball machine in my pocket. First alert. $900 charged to Lisa Caldwell's Amex. Honeymoon Suite. Second one, $300 for a private cabana. Third, $275 for a couple's massage with aromatherapy and champagne. I wiped sweat from my forehead and laughed out loud. They weren't holding back. They were living it up on a woman's card who didn't even know her name was being used to bankroll her own betrayal. I let it keep stacking up. Every time my phone buzzed, I imagined Vanessa slipping into some plush robe, thinking she'd pulled it off. Every massage stroke, every fruity cocktail, every overpriced room service charge. They were building their own downfall with every tap of the screen. By dinner, I was too wired to eat. Just sat at my kitchen table with a cold beer and my laptop, digging into Facebook like a man on a mission. Malcolm's profile popped up first. His face was in the banner photo, wearing scrubs, standing next to a dental chair with some cheesy thumbs up. Professional page linked right to it. Married to Lisa Caldwell. Proud father of two. Alumnus of Texas A&M. His feed was boring. Golf outings. Staff birthdays. A photo from the Rotary Club Awards dinner where he won something for community excellence. The guy was living a double life in broad daylight. I clicked through to Lisa's profile. That hit different. Lisa was the real deal. Anniversary posts with handwritten notes in cursive. Beach vacation selfies. Her and Malcolm grinning like high school sweethearts. Photos with two adult kids, one in college, the other recently engaged. Her world looked solid, built on years of trust. Until now, I stared at a picture of the two of them holding wine glasses in their backyard. Her caption, 25 years strong. My forever. I didn't hesitate. I opened a blank email and wrote, subject, thought you should know. Body, hey Lisa, I don't know you, but I know your name's been used without your permission this week. Your husband Malcolm is currently in Palm Springs, staying at the Sunset Mirage Villas with my wife, Vanessa. They're pretending to be you. Attached are screenshots of the hotel reservation, room upgrades, and charges made to your card. Thought you should know how your husband's spending your money this week. Rick Lawson. I attached the photos, everything from the fake booking to the romantic suite upgrade, and hit send. Felt like dropping a lit match into a dry forest. Then I walked out back, stood under the porch light, and let the cool night air hit my face. She had a right to know, just like I had a right to be angry. What they were doing wasn't just cheating, it was theft. Lies stacked on lies, paid for by people who never agreed to the cost. I wasn't gonna chase Vanessa. I wasn't gonna scream or beg or wait around like some lost puppy. But I was gonna make damn sure the truth landed in the right hands. My phone buzzed again. Another charge. Room service this time. Lobster tail for two. I smiled, locked the screen, and opened a new tab. Time to look up Lisa's phone number. My phone rang before I even found her number. Unknown caller. San Antonio area code. I stepped back inside and answered on the second ring. This is Rick, I said. There was a pause, then a woman's voice. Calm, low, tight. This is Lisa Caldwell. I didn't say anything right away. I just let out a slow breath and braced myself. I got your email, she said. The photos, the charges. All of it. I figured you deserved the truth, I said. Didn't feel right sitting on it. He used my name, she said, her tone flat. He used my card to take your wife on a vacation. I could tell she was keeping it together through grit teeth. Her voice never cracked, but it was sharp, like she was slicing through glass. Yeah, he did, I said. And she used your name to cover it. There was another pause. How long's it been going on? She asked. I don't know for sure, I told her. But this trip's not the first time she's pulled something like this. There've been work events and retreats before. I just didn't know who she was with. Lisa gave a small, bitter laugh. He's been weird for months. Distant, quiet. Told me he was dealing with stress from the office. Late nights, early flights. I believed him. We've been married 16 years, I said. And she still looked me in the face and lied without flinching. 25 for us, Lisa said. I feel like an idiot. You're not, I said. They are. She didn't respond right away. I could hear her tapping something in the background. Then she said, I just froze the Amex. Everything's locked down now. Bank accounts, savings, anything he's touched. I nodded, even though she couldn't see it. Good. I made sure all the resort charges went on your card. Thought maybe it'd be better if he had to explain that part himself. He will, she said, soon as he lands. We both went quiet again for a few seconds. The silence was heavy, but not awkward, just full of things we didn't have to say. I know this sounds weird, she said finally, but thank you. I didn't do it for thanks, I said. I did it because I'm sick of being lied to. Same. We compared dates. Her Malcolm's working late stories matched perfectly with Vanessa's so-called girls' nights. Same weekends, same excuses. It wasn't just this one trip. They'd been running this playbook for months, maybe longer. He was in Houston last fall, she said. Supposed to be at a dental conference. Told me he was too tired to FaceTime. Vanessa said she was in Galveston with her sister that same weekend, I said. But her sister was posting Instagram stories from Chicago. Lisa muttered something under her breath. I didn't catch all of it, but I heard the word bastard loud and clear. She sighed. All right, I'm not gonna fall apart over this. I've got a lawyer. I've got records. And now I've got proof. I liked her already. We need to cut off their fun before they spend another dollar, I said. Then, if they come back acting innocent, we go public. Agreed, she said. They don't get to walk away clean. We're in this together now, I told her. She didn't even pause. Damn right we are. The line went dead a second later. I stood there for a moment, holding the phone in my hand, thinking about how fast everything had flipped. Then I walked over to the office drawer, pulled out Vanessa's emergency contact list, and started calling every bank her name had ever been tied to. First bank froze her savings. Then the joint credit line. Last was the old travel rewards card she thought I didn't know about. I didn't say a word to her, just filled out the forms and submitted fraud reports. One after another. By morning, it was done. I was knee-deep in mulch at the Dalton place when my phone rang. Palm Springs number. I took off my gloves and stepped away from the yard. This is Rick. Hi, Mr. Lawson. This is Devin, the guest services manager at Sunset Mirage Villas. I'm calling about the reservation under Lisa Caldwell. I smiled. Let him keep going. There seems to be a problem processing the most recent charges. The card on file was declined several times, and our guests are currently, well, quite distressed. Yeah, I said. I imagine they are. We're hoping to get alternate payment to avoid any service interruptions. You're not getting it from me. There was a beat of silence on his end. I'm sorry. That woman pretending to be Lisa Caldwell? She's my wife. The man with her is someone else's husband. I didn't authorize a damn thing, and you better believe I'm not cleaning up their mess. Sir, I'm just trying to. Let them figure it out, I said, and hung up. Not 10 minutes later, my phone started blowing up. One voicemail, then another. Then 5 texts in a row from Vanessa. Rick, call me. There's something wrong with the cards. The front desk is being rude. Please just check our bank. What is going on? They're saying we're declined for everything. Did you freeze the account? This isn't funny. Rick, please call me. I need you to fix this. I tossed my phone in the cab of the truck and went back to raking. By lunchtime, she'd left 7 voicemails. First 3 were confused. Then the 4th had some bite. By the 7th, she was full-on panicked. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm stuck here. Rick, they're threatening to lock us out of the room. I'm at the front desk right now. Call me back. I didn't. Malcolm tried calling Lisa too, but she forwarded him straight to voicemail. She texted me an hour later. He's trying to talk. I'm not listening. By mid-afternoon, Vanessa called again. No voicemail this time. Just a number from the same resort landline. I let it ring, then ring again. Third call I picked up. Didn't say a word. Rick? She said, like she wasn't sure I'd answer. It's me. Look, there's something wrong with the account. Can you just look into it for me? I could hear the hotel staff in the background, typing, phones ringing, one of them asking something about a declined payment. Rick? She said again. Can you help us out here? It's just a card issue. I'm sure it's a mistake. A mistake. I held the phone up and stared at the floor of the truck. Jaw clenched so tight it hurt. My hands were filthy, still covered in mulch, but I could feel the weight of the silence settling between us. She cleared her throat. Rick? Hello? Can you say something, please? I said nothing. She kept talking, her voice cracking now. Rick, please. They're saying we can't charge anything else until we pay the balance. I don't have another card. Just help me fix this. Please. Still nothing from me. Rick? She whispered. Don't do this. That was the last thing she said before I hung up. I opened my contacts, scrolled to her name, and hit block. Then I turned off the ringer, grabbed the shovel from the bed of the truck, and went back to work. Next morning, I was loading bags of topsoil into the trailer when Lisa called. He's back, she said. Landed around midnight. I was waiting at the curb. How'd it go? I asked, though I already had a good idea. She didn't answer right away. I could hear the coffee machine humming in the background, something clattering on the counter. He walked off the plane like he just came back from a seminar, rolled his carry-on like nothing was wrong. I waited. He said it was a conference in Monterey, she continued. Some dental thing. Even said he'd bring me next time. I snorted. Ballsy. Oh, it gets better, she said. I pulled out the hotel bill and the screenshots of the reservation, the spa charges, the room upgrade, the note you left. She paused just long enough for me to picture it. He stared at it for 5 full seconds, she said, then asked why you upgraded the room. I blinked. Come again. Yep, Lisa said. He told me it was your idea, that you'd approved the trip as some kind of reconnection weekend. He swore up and down that Vanessa said you were on board with everything. I had to lean against the trailer gate. So he thought I was paying for them to go on a couple's retreat? That's what she told him, Lisa said. Said you were trying to make up for how distant you'd been. Like she was doing you a favor by bringing him. I laughed once, bitter and sharp. Wow. Yeah, she said. He really believed it. Thought he was doing the right thing. What did you say? I told him to get the hell out of my house, she said. And I meant it. She didn't sound shaken. She sounded pissed, focused, cold in a way I respected. I packed him a duffel and left it on the porch, she added. He tried calling after that, but I blocked him. He's staying at a Marriott near his office. Think he'll try crawling back? He already tried, she said. This morning. Left a voicemail crying. Said he was manipulated. I rolled my eyes. They're always victims when it falls apart. Lisa hummed in agreement. I made a few calls last night, by the way. Emailed Malcolm's practice director. Attached the hotel receipts. Mentioned the identity theft angle. Smart, I said. They'll want to distance themselves from it. They already replied. Said they'll be reviewing his standing with the group. Apparently their top priority is client trust. Bet that's hard to rebuild when your lead dentist's out there committing fraud. Lisa didn't laugh. She was too tired for it. I didn't stop there, she said. Vanessa's nonprofit, right? The one with the food security programs. Yeah. I emailed the board, she said. Their contact info's public. I told them what she did. How she used my name to commit identity fraud. Sent the screenshots. I blew out a breath. That's gonna blow a crater in her career. She built her whole image on honesty and outreach, Lisa said. Let's see how that holds up. I picked up a shovel and set it down again, unsure what to do with my hands. You didn't have to do all that, I said quietly. I know, she said, but I wanted to. They didn't just cheat. They stole from us. Time, trust, money, everything. There was nothing left to say. She already said it best. Talk soon? She asked. Yeah, I said. Keep me posted. She hung up. I grabbed the topsoil bags, tossed the last one onto the pile, and drove off to my next job. 3 days later, I was in the garage sharpening mower blades when I heard her car pull in. She slammed the door like she was mad at the wind, dragging her roller suitcase up the walkway like it owed her something. I stayed right where I was, didn't bother opening the door for her. She let herself in, then hovered in the kitchen like she expected applause. Hey, she said, acting winded. Her voice was all fake brightness. You wouldn't believe the travel delays. I leaned in the doorway, arms crossed. She looked rough, sunburn peeling across her shoulders, hair still holding the shape of a messy bun. No makeup, no smile, just worn out and cornered. What's going on? She asked, like I was the one acting strange. You tell me, I said. How was Palm Springs? Her face didn't even twitch. What? Sunset Mirage Villas. Honeymoon Suite. You and Malcolm. Ring a bell yet? She froze. That was the moment she knew the game was up. Rick, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't, I said. I saw everything. Your fake name. The charges. The note. Her lips parted like she was about to deny it again. But then she switched gears fast. Okay, I don't know what someone told you, but I think I've been hacked or something. Maybe it was a booking error. You were hacked, I repeated, stepping forward. You're really going with that? She stammered. It's possible. You don't know. I held up the folder I'd been keeping on the kitchen table. She looked down at it and flinched like it had teeth. Divorce papers, I said. Already signed on my end. I suggest you find a lawyer. Her mouth dropped open. Wait, Rick. Hold on. Don't you think you're being a little dramatic? You committed identity fraud to cheat on me with another woman's husband. I think I'm being generous. She looked like she'd been slapped. You don't even want to talk about it? Nope, I said. We're way past talking. You've got until Sunday to move out. I have rights too, she snapped. This is my house, Rick. I let that one hang in the air for a beat. No, it's not. I bought it 2 years before we ever met. Your name's not on the deed. Never was. She blinked hard, like it physically hurt her to realize I wasn't bluffing. You hid that from me? I shrugged. Nope, you just never asked. She looked around the room like it was the first time she'd ever really seen it. The cabinets, the fridge, the stupid little chalkboard she used for grocery lists. You're serious, she said quietly. I am. She didn't say another word, just picked up her suitcase and walked toward the guest room without looking back. I didn't watch her go, just stepped out onto the porch and sat down with a cold drink. Lisa texted a few hours later. Did she show up? Yeah, I replied. Burnt and busted. She sent back a single thumbs up. That was all. We started talking more after that. Just short stuff at first. Updates, info, letting each other know if one of them tried to make contact again. But it didn't feel like venting. It felt like being heard by someone who'd been through the same fire and didn't need filler words to fill the silence. Sometimes we didn't even talk about them. We talked about real life. Her son's graduation. A koi pond I was designing. The kind of stuff that didn't require apologies or explanations. It didn't make the past disappear, but it made the nights quieter. The following Friday, I was hauling a busted lawnmower into the shop when my phone rang. Number I didn't recognize. This is Rick. Rick Lawson? You don't know me, but my name's Mark Delaney. I used to be good friends with Daniel, Vanessa's ex. The name didn't click right away, but I could tell by his tone this wasn't a casual call. Okay, I said. What's this about? I heard about what happened. The Palm Springs thing. A buddy of mine works with one of the board members from her nonprofit. Word's getting around. I leaned against the truck bed and crossed my arms. Yeah, that situation's been handled. He sighed. Look, I'm not trying to dig up dirt for fun. I just figured you ought to know what kind of history you're dealing with. I stayed quiet. She's done this before, he said. Daniel wasn't the first either. There were 3 of us. All long-term relationships. All ended the same way. Lies, cheating, chaos. 3, I asked. Minimum, he said. Far as I know. She cheated on Daniel with a coworker. Told him it was his fault for not being more emotionally available. Same line she used on the guy before him. That one ended with her draining his savings. I felt my jaw clench. She also got fired from her first nonprofit gig, he added. Back when she was fresh out of school. Had a thing with one of the board members, married guy. When it blew up, they let her go quietly to avoid press. I shook my head. Why the hell didn't anyone say anything sooner? Most people didn't know she was married again, Mark said. She kept a tight lid on it. And the ones who did just figured, not our business, I guess. Yeah, well, it became mine. He paused. I'm sorry, man. I wish I'd called you a year ago. I didn't answer right away. Just said, thanks for the call, and hung up. That night, I told Lisa everything. She wasn't surprised. I heard whispers about Malcolm too, she said over the phone. One of his former hygienists called me last year. Said he was flirty and inappropriate with staff. I chalked it up to bitterness at the time. So they were both built for this, I said. They didn't just slip up. They rehearsed it. Over and over, she said. We didn't talk for a few seconds after that. Just let it sit there, ugly and true. I keep thinking about how normal it all felt, I said finally. Like for years, we had dinner routines, inside jokes. We'd talk about weekend plans like any other couple. Lisa said, that's the scariest part. They didn't wear horns. They wore trust. I sat on the porch after we hung up, just watching the quiet street, thinking about every lie that slid past me because it was wrapped in a smile or a kiss or some half-assed excuse. Vanessa used to go on yoga retreats. I'd drop her off at the airport myself, thinking she was going to some serene cabin in Colorado. Turns out those weekends were booked under burner emails and fake names. Most weren't even yoga-related. 2 of the places she stayed were romantic resorts. One had Intimacy Weekend in the title. And the book club weekends with her old college friends? One of those weekends lined up with Malcolm's travel calendar too. Lisa confirmed it. Looking back, the dots weren't just connectable, they were flashing neon signs. But I trusted her. Simple as that. I believed what she told me because I thought I knew who I married. Now I knew better. And every time the truth came out, it stopped hurting a little less and started making a little more sense. That Saturday, I pulled into the neighborhood around 5:30 after wrapping up a sod job in McKinney. As I got closer to the house, I could smell it before I even saw the smoke. Thick, oily, choking the air. Then I turned the corner and saw it. My truck, was fully engulfed in flames, popping and cracking like it was alive. Black smoke curled into the sky, and standing 10 feet away in the driveway was Vanessa, holding a red gas can in one hand and screaming like a lunatic. You ruined my life, she yelled, eyes wild, hair blowing into her face. You think you can humiliate me and just walk away? I parked 2 houses down, calm as ever. Called 911 before I even stepped out of the truck. Yes, ma'am. My ex-wife just torched my vehicle in my driveway. Address is 419 Willow Bend. Fire's still burning, and she's still here. I hung up and walked toward the house like it was just another job site. She turned on me fast. You're a coward, Rick. You think you're so righteous. Back up, I said. You're on camera. I pointed to the doorbell cam above the garage. She looked up, blinked like it hadn't even occurred to her. That flash of hesitation was all I needed. I didn't raise my voice, didn't move toward her. I just stood there with my arms crossed while the neighbors peeked out their windows and the fire spread through the cab, flames licking the back tires. You cost me everything, she spit. My job, my reputation. You and that stuck-up bitch ruined my name. No, I said. You did. Sirens rolled in 3 minutes later. Cops and fire trucks hit the street at the same time. The firemen didn't waste a second. Hoses out, spraying the hell out of what used to be the best truck I'd ever owned. The officers separated us quick. One took her by the arm, read her rights right there in front of the neighbors. She screamed the whole time. I have a right to be upset. That was my life. He set me up. Nobody listened. I gave my statement without much emotion. Just facts. I told them what I saw, what she said, pointed to the doorbell cam footage and handed over my phone. One of the officers nodded. That's arson. No question. They cuffed her, put her in the back of a cruiser. She was still shouting when they drove off. I stood by while the firemen doused the last embers, water soaking into the driveway like blood into a bandage. The smell of burning rubber and gas hung in the air long after they left. Next day, around noon, Lisa pulled up out front. She brought iced coffees and a tired kind of look I knew too well. You all right? She asked, handing me a cup. Burned the truck down, I said. Lit it up like a damn bonfire. She always this dramatic? Guess I finally hit her where it hurt. We sat on the porch for a while, both of us quiet, just watching the breeze shake the leaves off the maple tree across the street. Lisa took a sip of her drink, then looked over at me with a small, dry smile. They gambled everything, she said, and lost. I stared at the scorched outline still stained into the driveway and nodded once. I couldn't have said it better. 1 year later, I was standing next to a koi pond I'd built from scratch for a client in Frisco. 6,000 gallons, triple waterfall filtration, Japanese river stones lining every edge. Water clear as glass. Not a single leaf floating out of place. My new company, Lawson Landscaping, was doing better than I ever expected. 6 employees, a waitlist 3 months deep, and contracts rolling in faster than I could sign them. Word of mouth carried us farther than ads ever could. People liked working with someone who told the truth and showed up on time. Turns out that's rarer than it should be. Lisa stopped by the site that afternoon, just to say hey. She brought lunch, no fanfare, no surprises. That was how we worked. No drama, just steady, real. Still testing water levels every day? She asked, watching me check the pH kit. Old habit, I said. I like knowing what's off before it gets cloudy. She smiled at that. Wish I'd done the same with Malcolm. We didn't dwell on them much anymore. Her ex got sentenced to 2 years for embezzling funds through his practice. Mine served 18 months for felony arson. I never visited. Neither did Lisa. Now I came home to silence that felt good, not tense, not heavy, just quiet. I cleaned the house on Sundays, replaced the couch, painted the kitchen myself. Finally felt like my home, not a museum for some fake life. Lisa and I weren't rushing into anything. We saw each other when it made sense. Talked a few times a week. No expectations, no guessing games. I trusted her because she never gave me a reason not to. That was the difference. Trust wasn't a gift anymore. It was a receipt, earned and checked, not handed over blindly. She walked back to her car after lunch, and I stayed by the pond, watching the fish glide slow and smooth under the surface. The thing about koi, you can tell the health of the whole pond just by watching how they swim. I dipped the test strip in again, checked the color, and nodded. Perfect balance. People asked if revenge ever made me feel better. Didn't. Building something solid from the ashes, that's what did it.